If you've just received the notification on Facebook, join us at the top of the hour for a 15-minute lightning chat with Kirsten Gagnaire, who's contributing to the work of the Data Strategy Working Group for Immunization Agenda 2030. If you don't know what any of that means, join us for that reason. If you do, join us to learn more and chat with Kirsten and ask your questions. See you in a couple of minutes. Warm welcome to you from Geneva, Switzerland. I'm Reda Sadki from the Geneva Learning Foundation, and I'm here with our guest, Kirsten Gagnaire, who is working on the data strategy for IA2030, which is the immunization strategy for the next decade. With me as well, of course, is Charlotte Mbuh from the Geneva Learning Foundation. Charlotte, would you like to say hello?
Okay, hello Reda, hello Kirsten, and hi to everyone that's joining us today. I'm Charlotte Mbuh, associate with the Geneva Learning Foundation, and it's always a pleasure to be here with you.
All right, we're looking at your comments and questions on Facebook. This is going to be a lightning chat. So this means we have 15 minutes with our guest, Kirsten Gagnaire. And hello to Sardar Alam Khan Memoti from Pakistan. Please tell us what city and country you're from. That will be much appreciated and will give us a sense of who is actually listening in. So to go, Kirsten is contributing to the work of the IA2030 Data Strategy Working Group. So the first question, we know that IA2030 is the Immunization Agenda, a global strategy to leave no one behind. Can you tell us, summarize briefly what is the point of this global strategy to leave no one behind? And two, as you introduce yourself, tell us what is your role? How are you contributing to the development of this Immunization Agenda 2030?
Sure, thank you. It's nice to be here, Reda, and nice to see you as well, Charlotte. So the IA 2030 was developed as a way to really bring together the entire immunization ecosystem under one strategy to get to the point where all children are fully vaccinated everywhere across the world. Within that, there are a series of strategic priorities and core principles. One of the core principles is data guided, and that the entire work of this is guided by data. So the work that we're doing, my company, Kati Collective, is facilitating and kind of providing the backbone support for a global working group around the data strategy piece. And it is, we were brought together by the Gates Foundation, WHO, and Gavi. We've got participants from Village Reach, CHI, JSI, UNICEF, and other organizations who've been deeply involved in this. And we're really just providing the framework and support to help this group come up with an actionable work plan that includes the different players at the global, regional, national, and subnational levels, all around how to make sure that data is an actionable part of being able to achieve the goals of the IA 2030.
So Kirsten, can you tell me what is the timeline on the work that you're doing and what is the deliverable?
Sure. So we started this work many months ago. Actually, it was in about February we started this work. And we have been working along a methodology to come up with this action plan by the end of this year. So we're partway through right now, and we're just now starting to really go out much more broadly beyond the working group to start to tap into stakeholders at all those different levels that I mentioned.
Great. So I want to greet some of the folks who are joining us on Facebook, such as Rajat Garg, Nasir Masood, Anthony Shamang from Kaduna State, Nigeria, Martha Ngowi from Cameroon, and Sardar says, thank you, Reda. He's from Pakistan, working with WHO as area coordinator in Islamabad. So welcome to you all. Do ask your questions for Kirsten. This is a lightning chat. So we have just 15 minutes to meet and greet and learn something about the work that Kirsten is doing to contribute to the Immunization Agenda 2030, a global strategy to leave no one behind. So I'm showing the information page on the WHO, on the website of the World Health Organization. You can see that there is already a strategy here. Now, the previous strategy was called the GVAP, or Global Vaccine Action Plan, and that also lasted a decade. Kirsten, was data central to the GVAP in the way that it seems it is intended to be in IA 2030?
Sure. So I was less involved with the GVAP, but my understanding is, that was really trying to get more data and have a basis of data. And now that we're much further along and kind of more mature in the data world, the idea is that we're really trying to learn from the last 10-year strategy and be forward thinking. And part of what we're doing in this data strategy action plan is thinking about the trends and the future trends, and thinking not just about the challenges right now that need to be addressed, but what are some of the challenges and what kinds of ecosystems and conditions might we be operating in the future, and how do we make sure that we've got data to help us understand and be really adaptive to that. So I would say this is just like, it's the next iteration of the strategy. It's the next iteration of being able to use data in a better, kind of more proactive way.
Okay, we have a first question from Rajat Garg who asks, does this, I don't know if he's referring to specifically the data work or IA 2030 overall, include adult immunization? So this concern that historically the focus has been on children. Yeah. Is there now full recognition in the new strategy that adult immunization is on the agenda?
Certainly, that has been an important part of the conversations with this data strategy. Is we've been thinking about how do we make sure that we've got data not just for childhood immunizations, but for adult immunizations as well, to cover the entire spectrum. So yes.
All right. So we have Mohammed Imran from Pakistan, who has actually what looks like a long comment, but he says, IA 2030, excellent to look at, just like all other predecessors, but any analysis on the past global commitment, to what extent targets were achieved, and if something was not achieved, what were the reasons, how those important reasons and factors are addressed in this IA 2030 so as to achieve all the set targets. Now, Imran, that's a great question. However, Kirsten's work is very much laser focused on one aspect of the new strategy. It sounds like we need to invite some of the folks who are working at WHO and elsewhere on the overall strategy. So I don't think it'd be fair to ask Kirsten to answer that one. Feel free to comment, Kirsten. Can you tell us more about what your specific focus is so that folks who are listening on Facebook can target their questions accordingly?
Sure, thank you. And I do agree that's a very important question, and that there are others far more qualified than I to respond to that. So we're very focused on the data piece of IA 2030 and what it means to actually be able to collect, analyze, and use data at all of these different levels. So just to give you an idea of the framework we've been using, is we've gone through these strategic priorities that you can find in the IA 2030 document. We've divided up into subgroups. Within those strategic priorities, you can see these bullet points are actually strategic objectives within each of those. We've gone through every single one of these strategic objectives, and we've done a set of use cases that say, if so-and-so had what kind of resources around data, then they would be able to. And asking that question in a very focused way about what do anybody need at the global, national, and subnational level to be able to reach each of those strategic objectives? What do they need in terms of data? So we went through that, and then we asked, what are the challenges for having this be able to happen. And then we started asking the question of what would need to happen to be able to address those challenges, and who would be responsible at each of these levels, and what would they be doing? So this is the way that we've started mapping out an action plan that includes major things that need to happen at every level to ensure that data is collected, it's relevant, it's useful, and it's in the right place at the right time to be able to achieve each of those strategic objectives.
Okay, thank you. So in the next week, actually, we're holding a private consultation for a number of the participants from the WHO Data Improvement Planning courses. So folks who have completed both levels 1 and 2 of that course are going to be invited to have a chat with you and to what are you going to ask? What are you interested in hearing from practitioners who work in countries who have been honing their data skills and really been focused through these courses and other activities on thinking and doing around the quality and use of data to help inform decisions to improve the performance of immunization programs?
Great. So what we're looking at is, first of all, I should say that part of the agreement on this at the global level is that as we work through this, those global level funding partners will agree on linking funding to the action plan, data related funding to the action plan. So there's, some heft behind this.
Okay, it looks like we've lost Kirsten. All right, Charlotte, are you there?
Yes, Reda, I'm here.
There we go.
Okay, and I see she's back. All right.
Yeah,
you'll have to repeat your last sentence. Yeah.
What we'll do with this next round of stakeholder engagement is to actually show our methodology, show what we've been working through, show the level of detail that we have, and really get kind of input and impressions on that. And then we'll also be looking for people who will want to actually provide much more detailed input on very specific strategic objectives and what the action plans are and how to prioritize those actions at each of the levels, which will happen then after this next round. So the next round will be a larger full focus group to show the detail of what we've been doing. And then after that, we'll be looking for people who will want to have kind of flash consultations with us on specific aspects of the work.
Great. So Green Sadru, let me get myself out of the way, says, Green Sadru is a longtime, seasoned veteran scholar, very active in the Scholar Network, who says, I've been involved in developing the agenda at various stages. It really addresses the current and expected challenges so that immunization practitioners can use to develop national immunization strategies. I expect, Kirsten, you would agree with that.
I would, and he's exactly the kind of person that we want input from, because Green, we want to make sure that the work that we're doing and the way that we're prioritizing the actions and who's responsible for them align with that vision of what the IA2030 will achieve in a very actionable and tangible way.
Great. Okay, thanks. I now want to turn to Charlotte Mbuh from the Geneva Learning Foundation. Charlotte, you have been and you remain a field-based immunization practitioner. You have also engaged with a lot of the data courses, and in fact, in your previous role, you were a data manager. Could you tell me, what would you want to know about Kirsten's work and about how data fits in the strategy for the next decade that is supposed to help guide countries to improve immunization program performance and to achieve the global goals with respect to immunization?
All right, thank you very much, Reda. And if I were to ask, before asking Kirsten my question, I just want to say, one of the weak links in the immunization program over the past decade has been immunization data, using data for action, quality of data, and all of that. So I may want to ask a question. While your group is working on the IA2030 on the data aspect, what do you expect? What kind of information do you expect from the people you'll be consulting, either at health facility level, regional, at any level of the system? What kind of information could be useful to you in actually developing an action plan that will last 10 years as far as data is concerned?
That's a great question. And it's a few different levels of data or information. So one is we really want to know from the people who are working at the various levels, have we prioritized and captured all of the major kind of challenges and issues that need to be addressed so that data can be of high quality, actionable, and in the right place at the right time with the right user. So we want to understand that. Then we want to understand, are we also then having the right set of actions that need to be taken by this right set of actors? So that's really what we need, is verification, and to understand where are the gaps in what we've done. What have we done that are just kind of not, it's just maybe not even correct from their perspective and needs to be adjusted. But one of the principles of our work has been that it's human-centered and focused on the people who are actually delivering the work. So it's incredibly important that we have this level of review and input from the people at the different levels.
All right, thank you very much for that answer. And one thing that marked me about the IA 2030 is it's people-centered, and that for once we are going to see a bottom-up sort of planification, and I just do hope we'll get the results. So one other thing I just wanted to find out, in your planning process, are you going to think about capacity building as far as data collection and even data use is concerned?
Absolutely, and that's what a lot of the actions are that are coming out, is things around skills and capacity that has been coming through as a thread across kind of all of the use cases and challenges. So that's very much a big part of what's coming out of this. And again, you know, the major global level players have agreed that they're going to work on, you know, agreeing to what these actions need to be and what needs to happen so that they can actually start using this as a map for funding.
Great.
All right, thank you. Reda, over to you. I see 15 minutes are already gone.
That's right. And if you'd like to know more, of course, so first of all, check out the Geneva Learning Foundation's website. So that's learning.foundation. A lot of this, what we're doing through these lightning chats, is being driven by our COVID-19 peer hub. So this is a unique way for immunization professionals to share experience, spread ideas, and take action to keep vaccination going during the pandemic. It is also a gateway to the many different kinds of learning opportunities that the Geneva Learning Foundation offers together with its partners. Now, if you'd like to know more about Immunization Agenda 2030, and you can go to the WHO website. There's a webpage, a really comprehensive webpage that I'm showing here. You can see that the data-enabled pillar, which is the one that Kirsten Gagnaire is working on, is one of the key, one of the core principles that is building on the work of the previous strategy. Before we close, I'd like to read a couple of final comments. I am not able to read what must be Sanskrit, so I think data triangulation of immunization has been a revolution, and it permits to take decisive action to improve immunization programs. So it's true that there's definitely been many changes around data for immunization. Rajat Garg adds, the Peer Hub is really great. I have joined it. Brilliant ideas shared from across the globe. Thank you, Rajat, and thanks to you as well, because you are making the Peer Hub together with more than 4,500 scholars from over 90 countries. Back to you, Kirsten. If you'd like to say goodbye, or rather see you later, to people who are...
Yes.
Yep.
Yep, I hope to see you later, and very much looking forward to the input both in the next round and even following that in more detail. So thanks for the time today.
Great. Thank you so much. That was Kirsten Gagnaire, who is working on the IA 2030. That's the Immunization Agenda 2030, a global strategy to leave no one behind, and is working specifically on the data component of that strategy. Thank you, Kirsten, for having been with us, and we look forward to seeing you next week, and to keep engaging with you on Facebook and in the many other channels that we're using or testing as part of our efforts to connect immunization practitioners from all over the world. Thank you very much, and wishing you an excellent week, and let's stay connected.